Hey folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to check out Wolf and Hound. Now this is a game that is currently on Kickstarter as of today's date, October 13th, 2015. It's for 2 to 4 players for ages 10 and up, with the average play time being between 10 and 20 minutes. Now this game puts players in the shoes of shepherds that are trying to save their sheep and chase away their opponent's sheep. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the components and see how the game is played. Okay, so before we begin, it's worth noting that what you're looking at here is a prototype. So this is definitely not reflective of the final product. Although as prototypes go, it's not bad at all, I have to say. I mean, I don't know what the final version is going to be, but I can guarantee you it probably won't come in these baggies. There's actually going to be a box. So yeah, here's a quick look at everything. Now, this is a very team-based heavy game, and the instruction manual really encourages players to play this with 4 players. Now again, on the Kickstarter page it does say that you can play with 2, and I'll get to that in a minute. But basically the way that works is you've got a team of 2 against a team of 2. You've got player 1 here and player 3 here. These are on the same team. This is the green team, and these teams sit across from one another. You've got the orange team here, player 2 and player 4. Actually, let's put player 2 over here. Just so it makes sense. Play is clockwise, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, that makes my OCD feel a little bit better. Alright, so basically you've got this large pasture board here. Pasture, there we go. For whatever, not pastor board, we're not going to church. And there's no such thing as a person that is a board. Anyway, a pasture board, there's a large one. This is your supply. And basically, this is where the extra sheep will go. Each player starts the game with 3 sheep in their own personal board here. On top of that, what you're going to want to do is there's these wolf and hound cards and some other cards. And basically, players can choose what cards they want to introduce to the game that they're playing and throw the rest aside. Now, the instruction book, again, this is a prototype now. The instruction book does come with some recommended card combinations. For the very first game, it recommends you use the Hound card number 1 and the Wolf card number 1. So that's what we're going to do today. But there are some other cards that do more advanced stuff, like the Wolf card number 5. Target yourself and both players on your left and right. This Metamer card will actually flip on occasion, and you'll see different effects applied there. You've got these tornado cards, for example. So again, for the more advanced game, you can include these. For right now, we're not going to use them. There's also this number deck, and basically you're going to give this a good shuffle, and each player is going to get a hand of 4 cards. Okay, so in the interest of time, I'm not going to go over all of the rules in this manual over here, but I will give you the highlights. Now, on a player's turn, what's going to happen? There are 4 phases. There's the Wolf and Hound phase, the check, game, end condition phase, the play phase, and the draw phase. During the first phase, and by the way, the first phase is skipped, and that's very important, because what will happen on this first phase is the player with any Hound or Wolf cards in front of them, or even some of those tornado cards that we saw earlier, which we're not using right now, they will be resolved at that time. So if you've got a Hound card in front of you, just to quickly sum that up, you'll get to take a sheep from the supply and put it into your pasture. If you have a Wolf card in front of you, you have to take away a sheep. So basically, Hounds are good and Wolves are bad. After that, again, there are some other cards in the advanced, deck here, but I'm not going to get into those right now. All right, then after that, you've got the check, game, and condition. And basically, you're going to stop and see, does anybody not have any sheep? So if this player didn't have any sheep, that would signal the end of the game. Okay? Now, once that happens, whoever doesn't have any sheep, that team loses and the other team wins. So obviously you want to try and keep your sheep as long as you can. After that, you've got the play phase. And this is where you can take 1 card from your hand and you can play it into the discard pile. and you'll move the appropriate card. So, what we're going to do is play this 3. And the way this works is whenever you play a card of this color, you'll move the wolf. If you play a card of this color, you'll move the hound that many spaces. So we're going to play a 3. The reason why we're not playing the 2 is because the wolf would end up in front of this player up here. And if the wolf were to stay there on that player's turn, then at the beginning of this player's turn, they'd end up losing a sheep. So what we're going to do is we're going to play that 3, and what it'll do is that will move 1, 2, 3, and this wolf will come over here. Now, at the beginning of this player's turn, they only check to see what is in front of them. They do not resolve any cards that are anywhere else. They only resolve cards that are currently in front of them. So that wolf can stay there for a while and nothing will happen until it's that player's turn. But being a partner here, this player's going to want to move this wolf because, this player's going to want to keep the wolf there because, they're on opposite teams here. So this player is probably going to want to, after this player's done, try and get a number card that moves the wolf onto one of these other people. But anyway, getting back to this player's turn, he played a card, moved the wolf, and then at the end of their turn, the draw phase, they get to take 1 card from the deck, and then play moves on to the second player. Just to quickly show you what that might look like, let's go ahead and resolve this player's turn. At the beginning of this player's turn, he's going to check to see, do I have any wolf cards in front of me, or hound cards, or tornadoes, or whatever the case is. The answer is no, so we move on to the next phase. So we're going to go ahead and check the game end condition. Again, all players have sheep, so we're good there. Phase 3 is the play phase, so he's going to take a look at his hand and see if he has any cards that can get that wolf out of there, because if he doesn't move it, then this player is probably going to play a hound card and keep the wolf there. And then when this player goes, the very first phase, they have to check to see if they have any cards in front of him. He does, so he'd end up losing a sheep. So he's going to go ahead and play this 1 card here. It's a dark 1, which then moves this wolf card over here back to this other player. Okay. Now again, none of these cards get resolved until play comes around over here. All right. So after that, this player draws from the deck. And the turn ends, and this player would then take their turn. By the way, the game can end, if the deck runs out and players run out of cards. The game doesn't have to end when you run out of sheep. If the deck runs out and players are out of cards, basically both teams will add up how many sheep they have in their respective pens, and whoever has the most will win the game. Okay, so there you have it, a quick look at Wolf and Hound. It's important to stress that I did not cover all of the rules found in the manual. This was just to give you a general overview so that you could see how the game was played and see whether or not you wanted to support it. Speaking of supporting, this game, again, is on Kickstarter right now. So, well, as of today, the day of this recording. So if this seems like something that might interest you, go ahead and follow the links in the below description and go check it out. I think it would appeal to families, mostly. Families with smaller children. It's a very light, family-friendly game, so it's probably going to appeal to that particular crowd. But yeah, if you want to check it out, click on the links in the below description. It'll take you right there. This is Vince. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.